Guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. My name is Shurina. I'm a certified nutritionist, nutrition, health coach, and also a personal trainer if you didn't know that. So I know a lot about nutrition and how to make nutrition work for you, for your health goals, but also of course, fitness, weight loss, but also for your productivity, your focus, your attention, your creativity. Guys, this whole week, we've been talking about how nutrition is important for your brain, for the way it functions, how good your memory is, how well you are at connecting the dots and coming up with unique insights and amazing ideas that are gonna transform your work, your life, and the whole world, maybe, if they're good enough. Right? Nutrition has a lot to do with it. And guys, if you are an online business owner, entrepreneur, online coach, any sorts of self-employed person, content creator, influencer, realize that what earns you a living is what's between your ears, between your ears, behind your eyes. Your brain, guys, your brain earns you a living. Our brain is what got us here as humanity, to building cities and civilization. Our brain. And realize this fact that our brain developed to the state where it is now, that we are all doing these amazing things that, we couldn't possibly dream about a couple of hundred years ago. First, we as scientists already know, got more nutrition available to our brain. That can be because we moved a lot and we're able to get more food. We got a little bit better tools. A huge theory is also about how we started cooking. And because of the fire, we were able to get many more nutrients from foods that were unavailable to other species who didn't figure out how to use this thing, cooking, right? There's even a book by scientists, how cooking made us human. It has something with fire, but yeah, how cooking made us human. So realize that first we got more nutrients, then evolution of the brain happened, and many hundreds years forward, we are here, building cities, flying into space, exploring other galaxies remotely so far, planning to go to Mars. First came nutrition, and then came the rest of it. And so on your micro level, in your own micro evolution, you can do the same. You can start with nutrition, supplying your brain with all the building blocks, and then give it some time and consistency, and your brain in its own way gonna evolve to the state that you've never experienced before. It's like this saying goes, imagine what the world would be like if you could unlock your brain's full potential. If you are a fan of limitless movies and series on Netflix and Lucy, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. This voice, Morgan Freeman in Lucy. But anyhow, imagine how you would be, how your life could be transformed, how you could change the world if you indeed could unlock more, if not all. We don't know really what that means to unlock our full potential, but we do know that it can be better. And from my personal experience and experience of all of my clients, entrepreneurs who I worked with, you can unlock more of your brain capacity by first changing the hardware, providing all the building blocks through nutrition, and then allowing your brain to do its best work. So that being said, guys, now that you know why nutrition is so important for your life, for your brain that earns you a living, that got you here, but to get to the next level, you need to first get your nutrition to the next level. And a huge part of your nutrition is hydration, guys. We talked several times on this podcast about hydration. Realize, guys, that your brain, just like it's the most sensitive organ to your nutrition, it's also the most sensitive organ to your hydration status. Guys, our brain is about 73% water. And then if we don't take care of hydration of our brain, I'm going through my notes that I made for high productivity nutrition, a class I did recently. So here, just 2% of dehydration will cause this. And guys, think about it. Do you remember yourself having any of these symptoms? Memory loss, or just not remembering things well. Poor focus and attention. Give me a second. Okay, needed to clear my throat to give you better, to present you the information. This is very important information, better. So have you experienced any of these, guys? Memory loss or poor memory, poor ability to remember things. You learned something yesterday and you have no idea what it was today. Poor focus and attention, like you're sitting there and you just can't focus. You just can't seem to pay attention to what you need to pay attention to do this amazing work you're working on. Slow processing of information. Basically, you read something, you watch something, and you can't seem to grasp it. It just doesn't go through to your conscious awareness and understanding. Irritability and headaches. If you are experiencing these on a regular basis, any of this, it might have to do with your hydration status. And again, even just 2% of dehydration will start causing all of this. And, the more, the worse this gets. And as we talked about on this podcast already, hydration isn't just about drinking water, drinking liquids. It's also about having electrolytes, having certain minerals that allow your water, the water that you drink, the liquids that you consume, stay in your blood and in your cells. So we need, on the basic level, at least, we need the balance of these two crucial to hydration minerals, sodium and potassium. Sodium chloride specifically, it is needed to be present in our diet to make the water stick in our blood, and potassium is needed to make the water go into our cells. And water is needed in our blood and in our cells. And in the ideal scenario, you want to have the balance of this sodium and potassium to let water travel freely from your blood to your cells, from your cells to your blood when needed to exchange, nutrients, to exchange, any sorts of chemicals and information. Things in our body needs to be moving in order for it to function all the time. That's why hydration status is so important, because water is that medium that allows this traveling of stuff in our body happen. And in order for that to happen, again, we need to have balance of sodium and potassium. And now to analyzing all the lifestyles and diets of people in today's world, most of the people get enough sodium or salt, basically. More of the people get even more than enough. A lot of people get excess of it, eating all the processed foods, mostly. Snacks, salt is added everywhere as a preservant, but also to increase flavor and make it more palatable, make it more delicious. So salt is not usually a problem, although for people who start eating cleaner and better and less processed foods, like myself, also people who are active, people in hot climates, people who do a lot of sauna, people basically who sweat a lot. For this kind of people, if you're that kind of person, you might look into sodium. Adding more of that. There's a reason why athletes take salt tablets. Usually there is not just salt, but other electrolytes like potassium too. But there is a reason, because with sweat, you lose a lot of that water and hydration has a lot to do with your performance, mental and physical. And athletes, they earn their living by performance. You do too, by your brain performance, but you just don't realize it. Stick with me, guys. I'm speaking really fast today. Probably my hydration level is off the charts. So hydration, very important for performance in your body, from cellular level to your organs, to your fitness, to the capacity of you do fitness performance, right? So sodium, you might need more into that, if you are an athlete, sweat a lot, don't eat a lot of processed foods, and heard that low sodium was good for you, it's not good for you, especially if you are experiencing those states when you stand up and you feel dizzy or like you're about to faint. It seems like your blood sugar, blood pressure for no reason just fluctuate, and you just feel weak. And unable to do things physically and very often mentally, so sodium might be an issue. And then for most people, potassium is an issue. Like, people are just not eating enough of fresh foods containing a lot of potassium. Potassium is not added to most supplements, or at least not at the sufficient amount. Like, we need 4 or 5 grams of it. It's a lot of potassium, guys. And in supplements, in electrolytes, they usually add a couple of hundreds of milligrams, whereas we need 4,000 or 5,000, right? The reason being is, in supplement form, it can really mess up your heart rate and your blood pressure. So they don't usually add it. In most countries, they actually prescribe it. But you need to be getting your potassium from foods, and that's what most nutrition professionals recommend, and health professionals. And where do we find potassium? Well, some of the richest sources are things like bananas, avocados, butternut, portobello, mushrooms, spinach. Spinach is rich in potassium. And then beans and lentils and things like sweet potatoes and regular potatoes. As you can see, in a lot of vegetables and fruit, they are rich in potassium, but not as rich as the sources that I just mentioned. But what you can see is that the richer sources in potassium are your fruit, your vegetables, your beans and lentils and potatoes. And a lot of people with a processed food diet or on some sort of diet just don't get enough. Just don't, so people either eat all kinds of crap that doesn't have any potassium, or there is another group of people who start dieting and they eliminate so many things and carbs. And as you can see, things like fruit or potatoes or beans have quite a lot of carbs, and people start avoiding those. So that there is another group of people who doesn't get enough potassium. And so you end up with a whole bunch of people eating better and eating not so better, being deficient in potassium. And so what happens is water stays in your blood and you feel kind of puffy and bloated, but water it can't go into your cells, and it can't travel in your body. And so you feel all sorts of negative effects, from high blood pressure to, again, being holding water and feeling sluggish because your cells can't really use that water that you are drinking. It just stays in your blood, or you peed out eventually. So if you want the water to stay in the right places in your blood and in your cells, to travel through freely, to help nutrients and different chemicals, enzymes, hormonal substances to move freely through your body, you need to maintain a good balanced level of hydration, and your brain is especially sensitive to that, because there is all this electrical activity happening in your brain, and when your hydration level is compromised, it's not balanced, then this electrical activity cannot happen. And so your brain can't do its work, and you need to move and do this, all these processes in your body, from digestion to, cooking, to working on your photo shoot or your business. You need to do all of these things, and your brain can't do its work. Your brain can't even function properly with improper hydration status. So hydration levels, guys, super important. So don't just drink enough water. Do drink water, do drink tea, even coffee adds to your hydration levels. High water fruit and fresh vegetables also add to your hydration levels. All of this helps, but only if you have your sodium and potassium pump working properly. And for that, you need to consume enough sodium, at least 1 teaspoon, right? If you are a clean eater, an athlete, you'll need more. And potassium. Eat a lot of potassium-rich foods. I eat a couple of pounds of fruit and vegetables a day. I eat a cup of cooked lentils or beans, very often I would have a lot of spinach also, and mushrooms, and all these potassium-rich foods. And then half a liter of yogurt that also has a substantial amount of potassium. So a lot of fresh fruit, veg, yogurt, beans, lentils, sweet potatoes, and that's how I get off the charts levels of potassium. And that's why my hydration level is amazing, and I never hold water, even during my ladies' days. And ladies, you know that we do hold water usually when we go through this period every month. But anyhow, I don't hold any water, and that's because I know how to maintain balanced hydration levels. And if you are interested, again, guys, in maintaining proper balanced hydration levels, if you are interested in performing your absolute best mentally and physically, you cannot skip hydration, and you cannot not do it the right way. It's important. It's going to affect you whether you want it or not. You know, like recently I read on somebody's social media, why I love science. It doesn't care about your beliefs. Like whether you believe or not in what I'm saying, the science doesn't care, and neither do I. It's gonna work for you or against you. So use it, or, you know, as they say, lose it. Guys, if you missed something, if you didn't understand something, if you need more clarification, more details, please do use the forum. The link to it is in the show notes. Use it and submit your question or your thought. Maybe again, you need more details. Reach out and let's figure it out, because you can do your best. You can be your best. You can change the world, but you need to work on the hardware first, meaning your brain nutrition. And share this episode if you found it useful, guys. Share, so we all could do better creating this amazing world for all of us. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. This has been an awesome week so far. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. We're going to switch gears and have a guest. And as usual, till next time, don't forget to eat better daily.